All right, guys, we are back again, jumping into the character, and I think I'm just gonna pretty much just jump straight in. So where we left off before, we had done the hair and a little bit of the mask, and yeah, I think I'm gonna start sort of placing some of these accessories tonight. A couple of these things, just sort of blocking them out and just sort of getting them, more or less in the right place. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is put this on so that I don't get the screen all greasy. Okay, let's go here. And then... all right. This is a weird way to create the straps here. I feel like sometimes when you're creating things, you literally don't think things through, and you just literally just, I don't even know, do something really random like that. I could have made that strap a way easier, but whatever. Was super annoying. Wonder why you can't just keep going half, 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 half. Does anyone know? I don't. All right, let's get rid of that. Get rid of that. Whoa. Ooh, that's kind of cool. Whoa. All right. I mean, it feels like this kind of loops around a little bit, which I think what I might do then is do that and then and so when I'm blocking out, usually I'll try to get this mesh here as close to what I will most likely use for the final piece as best I can. However, sometimes, and this is one of those times, I am just going to sort of, again, placeholders. So I'm going to make a bunch of cubes in a second just to put where these pouches are, because I feel like that'll make, I don't know, easier to sort of place them, get everything like looking okay, and then once everything looks right and it's not going to, there we go. Yeah, and then once I place it in the spot, then I can just go through and make the pouch, like the final model of the pouch, because they're all going to be basically the same thing with a couple of variations, and then just replace the cubes with it. So I feel like that's Going to be pretty easy. Now, I would say this is probably a little bit thinner. Whoa. Hmm. Hmm. I think that'll... I don't want to spend too much time on this, so we'll do dynamic. Alright, and then... Ironically, I need to go down here and get a little bit of thickness. And... Alright. That is definitely something. Alright, let's get that going again. Alright. So I'm going to append a star. And then with that selected, a little trick I like to do is go down to the initialize. We're going to do the cube, and we're going to just turn the resolution to 1, 1, 1, and 1. Boop. And then we get a nice little four-sided. We get a cube that doesn't have any extra divisions, which makes life a little bit easier to make these pouches, because these pouches are going to just be... Yeah, I think something like... I think that's probably good enough. And then clearly I have 4 here and there. And then on this side, it looks like I have 3. But I'm wondering if... Like, it looks relatively symmetrical here. So I'm thinking we probably will do 4 again. So we will probably mirror it. Or at least I think I'll probably mirror it. So knowing that... And knowing that obviously has to be quite a bit smaller. And like the way it... This is definitely going to be a little bit of a fap. So I've got to do 4. And I think that's probably the right size. I'm thinking like trying to line this up. So this is probably about here. Alrighty. So then with Control Alt selected and then I use these arrows, I'll be able to duplicate that across. And what that will do is mask the original one and give me the ability to place this one. And I think we give it a little bit of a... like that. Control Alt again. It'll mask the one we just had selected. And we can make another one. Yeah, I think I got the size of these pretty bang on. But I got the location completely wrong. They need to be way higher up. But we can figure that out in a sec. So we're going to go back to the move, Control Alt, and chuck another one down. Just sort of put it in. I think that's enough. I think that looks good enough. Clear the mask. Auto group it, which I've got down here. Whoop. And then what I can do is move it up a little bit. Now, I think what I want to do is move them like that. And then because we need to bring this down, let's bring that down a little bit more. Okay. And then because I got these masks, I can individually mask them and just bring something like that forward. Okay. Yeah, okay. And then I think we'll just move him. Make him a little bit bigger. And Control Alt again to duplicate them down. And I think these ones a little bit bigger as well. And then center the gizmo a little bit. And yeah, I think like something like that. I think. And then once we auto group it, I can go back in here and just individually move them. So we can put one there. I'm sure there is a way easier to do it this way, but you know what? Unless you know better, the easiest way is the way you know. That is some words of wisdom right there. All right. And we'll just pull that out. Now, like, once I replace these meshes, I mean, it'll be a bit easier because I'll probably have them coming off the vest a bit. But what I'm seeing here is like this the vest sort of lines up with the pouches here, which I think is fine here, but this bit here, I think what I'll do is pull it in a little bit more. I think that'll make more sense. Yeah. Cool. All right. Then with these selected, I can mirror and do that. Now I've got one subtool, and we kind of have a very basic representation of what it's going to look like. Okay, so got that there. Now I think I will just get these straps in. So the strap one goes here and then a little bit here. And I think we probably want this to split open a little bit more. All right. Yeah, I think, yeah, let's do that. And then I don't think I'm going to do the strap the same way as I did those ones. So let's just, I'm going to append another star. I'm going to do my initialize. And then, because what we can do now is Control Alt. Hey, I don't want that open. I want select rectangle. I'm going to delete everything but that front face, delete hidden. And then now I have a single face that I can split down into a tiny little strap. Oh, excuse me. All right, so this one here kind of sits just below. I actually feel like that's kind of long enough. So we will do a multi-loop of 3 and then that. And now we can do X and okay. Okay, and then one more in the middle. Now, a cool trick that I found, like if you want to put a loop in the middle, or like an edge loop, if you do single edge loop, well, you can't really control where it is, so you can't really get it perfect. However, if you just do multiple edge loops, it'll always default to 1, and you can just release it. Now you got one that's perfect in the middle, which now I can pull that out and pull those out. And, I mean, probably a bit too aggressive with those angles. I think that's probably enough. Okay, that is most likely enough. So we can increase that, do dynamic, and then on the dynamic, we'll give it a bit more thickness. Probably a little bit like that. Strap 1, and then we can do that again, and shunk. Now I'm thinking this gap here is way too big, so let's leave this one here. All right, so now we got the 2 straps in, and I'm going to bring this closer again. So yeah, I think that already looks better. Cool. All right, so we've got a couple of things in. Now, with these pouches, I guess, I can see here that there's clearly 4 here. Over here is definitely, you can't quite tell, but what I'm thinking is we'll do 4. But here, there's very clearly 1 missing. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 here, 1, 2, 3 here, and they have left a gap. I'm probably not going to worry about that just yet until I've actually created these pouches. So let's get the dynamite put in now, because that is a pretty big piece. So what I might do is append a cylinder, solo it, so I don't have anything else, and then if I hold control and scale along an axis, it'll scale along the 2 axes you do not have selected. So if I just want to make this slightly thinner, because obviously this isn't the right sort of diameter, control, click, and alt click, my bad. See, even I forget. Alt click, and we're going to get the die. We're going to get this, And I'm going to turn perspective off. And I am going to Control Alt drag, Control Alt drag, and then Control Alt drag this one, and Control Alt drag this. All right, so now we have that. And then we give it a bit of an auto group. Wow, that took a while. And then Control Alt and pull these over here. Now, I could probably mirror these across and get it to look a bit more accurate. Couple of reasons why I'm not going to. I think that was easier, number one. But also, like, one of the things I like to think about, especially with things that are man-made, is like, if they're man-made, there's going to be some imperfections in them unless they're manufactured. So these dynamite rolls would be manufactured, so individually, sure, but the strap of them together, what I would probably do is even potentially, and I won't do it now, but when I go in and actually replace this asset with the proper asset, is probably go through and just do some slight offsets, ever so slight, just to give it a little bit more of a man-made feel. These were actually wrapped together by a human being, so there are going to be mistakes or imperfections, so to speak. But we'll deal with that later. Now, in terms of the string, I could probably just leave that for now. I think that's probably what I'll do, is I'll leave the string for now, and we'll just sort of... Whoa, that is a big stick of dynamite. And we'll just get that out. And so looking here, it kind of comes just below here, comes up in between here, so probably a little bit bigger. And I think that that's... Okay. All right. Okay. All right. I think... definitely got some scaling issues here, but I think for now, we'll leave that there. I think what I'll do now is... just going to do these two pouches here real quick. Pouches, I'm going to do some cubes. Okay, and then this one I will mirror, because there is another one on the other side. So we are getting some of the things blocked out. Probably going to want to do the tube, which I think will, again, because we're pretty much just chucking things in, let's get another cylinder. We'll solo it. And then using this gizmo tool, we can go polycylinder. I think it's polycylinder. Where is it? Where is it? Don't know. Too small. Nope, not polycylinder. Cylinder 3D. There we go. And then I think we'll give it probably none there. And that's going to be that. So I think that's fine. And weird that that's not scaling. Oh, there it is. It was just very, very small. All right. So I think mask poly loop. All right. I think that's good enough. Again, whoa. Now, I reckon we're going to make it roughly the same size because although it's a different object, I think it's very good sort of design symmetry there that although different objects sort of roughly the same shape. Now, all right. Perfect. All right. And then I think what we can do is maybe do the teddy bear. Trying to think the easiest way to do that because I could just make the teddy bear. I think what I'll do is I'll pen the polysphere and then we'll put it by itself and we'll make sure that that is dynameshed. So, okay, and then okay, and then I mean, it is just a teddy bear at the end of the day, so it's not like it's going to be super difficult. All right, and then B and B. Dynamesh is a lot of fun because I can literally just pull shapes. What the hell am I doing? There was definitely an easier way to get that that shape there, but anyway. Cool. All right. Uh-huh. I could have definitely done this in an easier way. Okay. Put that there. Do some ears. All right, and then pull the hands out from there. Cool. All right, now we'll do that. Do that. Bring them down a little bit. Oof. Cool. We can do our little eyes there. Obviously, we got to do the little nose. And I have no idea how these feet are, so let's just do something like that. And like that. And inflate the crap out of the front of the feet. Yeah, I think that'll... Okay. Good enough to fit in the... Shunk. Whoa. Yep. So this is another interesting thing about Dynamesh is, so we have Dynamesh enabled. Obviously, we're using it to sculpt out this basic teddy bear shape. But Dynamesh is based off of screen space, or the side of the object in the scene. So the smaller the object, the higher the resolution you are going to need to maintain definition. So we were using 32 resolution before, and it was enough to maintain this mesh here. But if I was to redraw the Dynamesh now, it doesn't really work very well. And to maintain it, like, we would need to have quite a high Dynamesh resolution. So even 168. So 464, still not quite enough. So super sort of interesting. If you don't know that, it can be a real pain sometimes if you're trying to create an object and it's just not working properly. But yeah, Dynamesh uses screen space or world space or whatever, the size of it in the scene. Cool. There we got the teddy bear. And all right, I'm gonna take a quick breather, and I will be back. Okie doke, we are back. So, I think what I want to do at the moment is sculpt in some of this on the glove. I don't even know why. I just sort of feel like doing it. So I'm going to go down here. We are going to... Whoa. With the move topological... Pull that. Do we have... Oh my god. Okay. I think... So we have dynamic on for this, but I think we're going to turn dynamic off. And I am probably just going to dynamesh this, which I think will, yeah, so we need quite a high dynamesh. But if I do that, so I think the best thing to do is going to be to Q-mesh all the polygons out so that we have thickness on the glove. And it's obviously ridiculously thick. Yeah. And I mean, probably pull these back a little bit because all right. So back to what we're going to do. Q-mesh these so that they're a little bit wider, and then maybe with 1,000 dynamesh, we get a, yep. And then now I can sculpt on this and actually get a little bit of this sort of detailing in here, which I think will be a bit better in the long run. So we, cool. All right, so I mean, step number 1, let's do that and turn on backface masking. So backface masking, what that's going to do is with that on, I can sculpt as much as I want on the front and it won't affect the back. If I turn on backface, you can see that it will affect the whole thing. And sculpting in, that's totally fine. And you know what? Super useful feature. Super useful feature when you have objects with thickness like this. And I'm wondering if it's going to even be any use. But we'll see how we go. So first of all, down here, so we're going to come down here and sort of sketch that in. And then this comes down here. So I think like so. And then I'm probably going to assume we're going to have something similar on this side as well. And then have like leather on the... Yeah. Okay, so we'll do that. And again, like when I'm probably making these, I'm going to go through and make whatever this is here its own object using and then obviously bake that down onto the low poly. But in this instance, what it does is just gives me something to work off of. So I think we got studs along the here, but let's have a look. I think I might have some gloves as reference. Maybe. No, I do not. Got a lot of leather pants, leather thing. So, no gloves. What I'm thinking is that what's probably going to happen is in between the fingers, we're going to have fabric in the middle with leather only being on the base or the pads, I guess, of the fingers and on the top, because it would be for protection. So let's kind of build that in. Yeah, something like that. And if it turns out that biker's gloves don't really look like this, then that's fine. But I think it makes sense from a sort of crafting standpoint that you would have more malleable material in between the fingers because you'd need it to bend and sort of respond. Yeah, so I'm thinking this bit here is going to be this bit here. So all right. I think that makes sense. Now we do have two different types, so I think do something like that. And then let's do these studs here at the end. So I think I kind of want a little bit more resin. Nope. Never mind. Give it there. Now, ironically, there we go. I don't know. Yeah, so this glove is different for sure. So I just don't know what this bit is. I'm thinking. I guess we can probably just pull these out. Again, these would 100% be different objects, but if we go move and then just pull on it like so. I think that's like close enough to kind of what we'd do. And then move this one over just the slightest amount. I think we're going to put some studs in here. This will just make it easier when I go to actually properly make the glove, I think. Definitely a bit. Yeah, I think that should be fine. All right. Thing is like the glove flares a lot. So I think this guy's got pretty beefy forearms compared to the base mesh. So let's jump down some divisions and just, I think, give him a little bit more volume there. I think that's probably okay. I don't think this is super necessary right now, but again, he's definitely more muscular than the base mesh, and I think it's important that we just a little bit beef it up. I think that makes sense. And then especially this bit here. All right. All right. So I'm going to do, I think, one more thing and then call it, just because I have some other work to do tonight. And that is going to be the back of this mask here, which I was able to locate as probably this sort of silicon strappy thing. So I'm going to do that now by appending a sphere. Not do Dynamesh. Divide it a bunch, and I will shrink it down to okay. So I think that's good enough. So what we're going to do and then I'm going to isolate that and the horrid mask that we've done so far. And then with this selected at a high resolution, I can go through and sketch in this mask. So clearly we're going to come in like so, like that. And then we have this bit here, which we are going to come in there and come in there. So then here we can do that. All right. And then I can set the thickness and extract that as a mesh. Now I don't need that, so we can delete that. Bring everything else back, and I can so based off this is probably actually going to be more. Okay. Okay. All right, so I think that is in there. And then what we can do here is do a little Z remesh. What we'll do detect edges, and we'll do like a 1. Not terrible. Let's do half again. What if we turn on off detect edges? Hey, it's still not terrible. Cool. Leave that like that for now. Because then what we can do is on this is get rid of the hairs that poke through. Yep. Perfect. All right. Cool. All right, guys. So I think I'm going to call it there for today. Just got a little done. I think I might jump on tomorrow, see how we go. I think what the goal will be is to block in this stuff down here around the belt, get some of that stuff in. And yeah, I mean, luckily, because of the way we're doing this, I don't want to get too much with the primitives because I'm going to want to start modeling things fully. But we'll start getting a couple of these extra things in. And yeah, I think the way I'm probably going to work is get a bunch more primitives in. Oh my god, it's too late. I'm going to stumble over my words. A bunch more primitives in to sort of get all this stuff down below here with the below the belt and all this sort of stuff down here with the pouches. Build all that out. Get all the straps on the arm done. The cables and stuff I will leave until the very end. I guess I should probably... Yeah, so the cables here I'm going to leave pretty much until the end. As in the end of the blocking out, because even when blocking these out, I will probably make them the way I would make them for the final mesh anyway, so it'll be one of the more last things I do, but we'll get some of this stuff done here. And then from there, I will probably start with my insert mesh brushes, so my IMM brushes for belt buckles and everything like that, because we have a lot of buckles. I think it makes sense to go through and just place these all over the place because that'll be an easy, quick chuck in. And then, yeah, I mean, you know, slowly but surely. One of the last things I'm going to do is make the gun because, well, I'm not good at that. And that's going to take some time. And yeah, should be fun. Anyway, guys, have a good night. I'll see you on the next stream.